Today, this wonderful group of parishioners reflecting on the week 1 of the Advent season 2022.
Well, as I read this reflection, I thought about preparedness versus unpreparedness. As we begin our preparation for Advent, this scripture seems to also reflect on the second coming of Christ as a possibility and the fact that we should be ready. There are unexpected events that happen in our lives all the time, not just those big ones, but joyous ones like births and marriages, but also challenges, illnesses, accidents, and just unfortunate events. And that it's important that we walk with God every day, all the time, every day, rather than just waiting for those big events. I think that what Matthew is saying, we need to live faithfully and hopefully every day.
Just now was how one will be taken and one will be left, and it made me sad. People who will be left, we need to be constantly working on having an eternal perspective on our lives and worldly things that would distract us from what's really important, but try to walk in love and be a witness to those that are in our lives that maybe aren't so close to God.
I like, the part where they say stay awake, which you don't really quite equate to being prepared so much as staying awake, be on your toes, this type of thing. And I do think it also has a lot to do with the second coming of Christ. I mean, you have to stay awake and you have to be faithful the entire time, not just for this time.
Keep your bags packed, as none of us know when that day will be, and live our life accordingly. And it's a wonderful reading, and I learned a great deal.
Well, what struck me was the word, same like Sue, stay awake, which kind of implies that are we sleepwalking in our life?
Yeah.
Are we going through sleepwalking? And I do sometime, because when I do sleepwalking, I only cope with life. The stress and strains and anxieties, I learn to cope with it. But that doesn't really solve any problem. So what the Lord is saying is, deeply be true to yourself. Deeply be true to yourself and stay awake in your heart and mind. That's where Christ comes. Not just in the tingling, sparkling decorations. They are needed, but it's in the deepest recesses of our hearts and minds where you feel the light, feel the warmth. What reminds me is Mother Teresa's line. She says, we want to welcome Christ as Christmas, to keep your hearts warm for Christ, just be loving and serving the poor. And that's where you will find Christ, and that's your day of Christmas.
I think we always have to be prepared for whatever is going to go on in our lives. I always think that maybe I will be ready because God says that you only need to have the faith of a mustard seed. I choose to believe that.
And think, like Sue said too, we need to be ready all the time. I just hope that I can get better at this every day and be an example, so maybe some that I know won't be left behind.
Well, we all know that God announces every time that He's going to come, or everything that He is going to do. We read about Noah. He asked him to prepare because a flooding was coming. Unfortunately, not too many people believe him. They enjoying their life, enjoying the way they like to do things, but never listen. Our preparation is to believe in God. Our faith in God, our trustiness in God is the preparation that Matthew, I believe, is talking about.